As a Democratic governor of a state that Trump won by 20 points, I don't have the luxury of just talking to people who agree with me. I go all across our state's 147,000 square miles and look for common ground to get things done. That's how I was able to bring Democrats and Republicans together to fight dark money and pass one of the strongest campaign finance laws in the country. I'm Steve Bullock, and I'm running for president.
That's the pitch of Montana's Governor Steve Bullock. Late entry into the presidential race, didn't make the first Democratic debate, but will be on stage later this month. And he joins us this morning from Helena, Montana. Governor Bullock, thank you for joining us this morning. I want to get to that debate, the Democratic debate going on right now, but I want to begin by getting your response. We just heard Mercedes Schlapp from the Trump campaign say that this squad is now defining, this squad of congresswomen now defining the Democratic Party, un-American, even communist.
George, first, thanks for having me on. Look, I don't agree with everything that these members say, but any parent, any preacher knows that telling 4 duly elected congresswomen to go back home, it's racist. And those 13 seconds where Trump just basically soaked in those sounds of those chants, that's going to be a stain on this presidency. So it's definitely wrong. But I also fear that at some point we're falling into the same traps of 2016, that we should also be talking about the fact that in the last week and a half, he tried to rip health care away from 13 million people as he's trying to undo the Affordable Care Act, or that DeVos is literally trying to funnel money this past week to private schools, or that he's not really doing a damn thing or a darn thing for farmers or factory workers and most Americans, and this is all that we end up focusing on.
How do you do that, though? Because, you know, the president is clearly thinking that he's going to try to rile up his base, eke out just enough wins in the Electoral College to win, even if Democrats end up winning the popular vote.
Well, and I think, you know, using race and using immigration to distract and divide us, and that's what this president's doing. It's a pretty cynical approach to politics. At the same time that 44% of Americans wouldn't have $400 in their pocket in case of emergency, he wants to just divide us. And we're better than that as a country. And I think we got to make sure that we're having the discussions about literally the seniors could better afford prescription drugs now because of the Affordable Care Act. He's trying to turn that over. Or DeVos is trying to get rid of the public service payments for, you know, student loan repayments for people that go into public service. Or that our farmers right now, I mean, a farmer in soybean loses money for every bushel of soybeans in Iowa that they plant. So he will try to distract. He will try to divide. But we got to be focusing on also the issues that impact people's everyday lives.
Your fellow Democratic governors had a gathering this week. It led to this headline in the New York Times. Anxious Democratic governors urge 2020 field not to veer too far to the left. Is that what's been happening?
Well, I think what happens often, Washington, D.C. is a place where talking is a substitute for doing, or a plan is about a press release. As a governor, like when we talk about health care, I hear about health care directly from constituents when I take my son to the Target. We're a lot closer to the ground. And I do think that a lot of the discussion that is happening and happened like on last debate stage is a bit disconnected from people's everyday lives. And we got to make sure that we're focusing on the fact that we need to make sure everybody has a fair shot in this economy, that this political system can work, and they can have belief that government can actually work for them.
Would you have raised your hand in that debate when they said that undocumented immigrants should get health care?
I would not have.
How about when decriminalizing crossing the border?
Well, and that's, look, even Obama's Homeland Security Secretary said that, you know, you got 100,000 people come to the border now. You'd have multiples of that if that was the case. You know, I certainly believe in border security. Don't believe we have to build a wall. And I don't believe in open borders. It just underscores also we do need comprehensive immigration reform. But so much of it, we need to get rid of Donald Trump, because he's not only ripping families apart, he's ripping our country apart by using immigration as that tool. So many of the challenges that we're having right now with immigration go back to one thing, and that's who's in office as president.
You're going to be on the stage at the next debate with Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, who both called for this Medicare for all, doing away with private health insurance. I know you've criticized that idea. Here's what Bernie Sanders had to say about that this week.
My Republican friends, and some others, seem to think that the American people hate paying taxes, but they just love paying insurance premiums. Oh my God, dear, the insurance premium is here. What a wonderful day. Oh, wow.
So when you're on the stage, how are you going to take that on?
Well, I look forward to taking it on from the perspective of, we can get access and affordability to people and get them decent health care without disrupting 180 million people or completely getting rid of private insurance. That's another area where I think that a lot of the discussions in D.C. are disconnected from people's lives.
And so you would not do away with private health insurance. Could you guarantee, though, then that everyone has a chance for Medicare?
Look, I think a public option, being able to buy in. With all the money in our elections, we pay more for prescription drugs than any other country in the world. We got nothing to show for it. Allow the federal government to negotiate for prescription drugs. Take on out-of-network billing and surprise charges. When I'm talking to folks, certainly many of them think that their insurance premiums are too high, or they wish that, these out-of-network charges didn't happen, but they're not saying let's completely upend and disrupt the entire system.
You also say you want to take on dark money in politics, but your critics have pointed out that you're still taking money for lobbyists in this campaign and the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah, George, nobody in this race has done more to try to get rid of the corrupting influence of dark money in our elections, undisclosed money, than me. That's been the fight of my career, and that started when I was Attorney General and that Citizens United decision first came down. Yeah, and the dollars that I take will be disclosed, so anybody can judge. But, here's an example. My brother does safety and environmental related work for a contractor that deals with the fossil fuel industry. Should I not take money from my brother? Ultimately, what we should be doing, and I'm not taking money from PACs, or I won't have a super PAC, what we should be doing is disclosing the contributions. And we've seen about $1 billion of money spent in our elections since Citizens United, where none of us know who's making those contributions or spending.
Right now, you don't meet the thresholds for that third debate in September, the ABC debate. You need to get 2% in 4 polls, 130,000 donors. It's an uphill fight. You going to make it?
I sure hope so. I mean, everybody goes to stevebullock.com. I will. But it's also one of these things that, I've been in about 7 weeks and made 6 trips to Iowa. And I think that for all of these debate rules, that it's still going to be these early states that take a large field and make it smaller. And hearing folks on the ground and what their concerns are is also my best debate prep, because I had a woman in Ottumwa, for an example, on Friday say, the one thing I didn't hear or missing from that debate stage was my voice and our voice. And we got to make sure that voice is heard.
Governor Bullock, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you, George.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.